Welcome back to the Walter Bosley channel. And today's guest is a very interesting gentleman here, Alexander Milovanov. And let me tell you about him first here. Uh, Alexander is a principal systems engineer at a cutting edge technology corporation in Los Angeles. His true passion lies in uncovering lost spiritual knowledge and healing practices. Alexander's worldview has been profoundly shaped by encounters with renowned spiritual teachers like Nikolai Levashov, Drunvalo Melchizedek, Shariji, Boris Zolotov, and others. Active in both attending and leading spiritual workshops, Alexander draws inspiration from these experiences and the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, guiding his focus toward the exploration of human consciousness. Welcome, Alexander, to the Walter Bosley channel.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me here today. And let me introduce myself and explain where information we will discuss today, because when you receive a new information, it's important to know if the source of this information is trustworthy. So I'm a scientist. I started my scientific career very early. At the age of 16, I became a student of one of the top universities in Eastern Europe. And by 21, I had already earned a master's degree in physics. So while working in science, I quickly realized that modern official science usually knows very little about the world and cannot answer even the most basic questions. So mainstream scientists themselves admit they only know something about 10% of the existing matter in the universe. And even that something is roughly like 4%. So remember these numbers if you tend to trust to modern science. In truth, official science has become a sort of religion, and I can easily prove this. Just like religion, science is founded on dogmas, and like religion, it's more willing to adopt new dogmas than to change the old ones. Realizing early that the official science cannot be trusted, I turned to other sources, both ancient and modern. These sources often ignored by science, and even deliberately science hide these sources and information from public if they not align with official dogmas. Science dismiss anything that contradicts its established dogmas. So I realized it very early and discovered that ancient civilizations had deep and real knowledge about the universe and its laws. Knowledge that over 5,000 years has been lost or intentionally destroyed. To find answers to the questions I had, I started studying both ancient and modern sources of knowledge that I trusted. I immersed myself in the works of many spiritual teachers and began practicing meditations technique early in my 20s. These practices helped me to break free from the false programs implanted in our intellect since childhood by the education systems, and to recall the knowledge hidden within each of us. So it took some time to understand that. Later, I was lucky to meet truly great spiritual teachers, people whose understanding of the world exceeded modern science by thousands of years. I encountered individuals with extraordinary abilities. I saw people around whom ozone would form in the air, who could stop earthquakes, control the forces of nature and the weather with just their thoughts only, teleport objects and do other things that would seem impossible for an ordinary person. I also met people capable of traveling across the universe and beyond through the power of their mind. From them, I gained direct knowledge about the universe and its laws, knowledge I could trust completely because it came from first-hand experience. Many of these insights I later confirmed through my own research, calculations, and experiments. The results of my studies of over several decades resulted in two books, The Music of the Divine Spheres and The Civilization of Lost Connection. Both were originally published in Russian. Later, The Music of the Divine Spheres was released in English. In this book, you may find ancient Egyptian knowledge of human consciousness, its levels, and the laws that govern transitions between these levels, as well as detailed information about the two Egyptian pyramids that we will discuss today. This is knowledge that humanity lost 5,000 years ago, and which I have managed to recover. The second book shares ancient wisdom about our consciousness and ways to accelerate its development, among other things. For example, it offers ancient formulas for love, happiness, and justice, and the path to attain them. This book has also been translated into English, and I hope will be published soon. The knowledge and information in my book, including that what we will discuss today, are drawn from the sources that can be truly trusted. So let's focus on pyramids today.
Yeah.
So today we're going to discuss the mysteries of two Egyptian pyramids, the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Step Pyramid. Official science and scholars claim that it's unknown who built the Great Pyramid, when it was built, and for what purpose. This fact has always puzzled me because Thoth, the legendary figure known as the ancient Egyptian deity associated with wisdom, writing and knowledge, and later known as Hermes Trismegistus, not only stated that he was the one who built the Great Pyramid, but also described exactly how and for which purpose it was created. However, to understand the structure of the Great Pyramid, we must first grasp the most fundamental knowledge of the ancient Egyptians. This knowledge is crucial for understanding the design of both pyramids and indeed all other as well. The most vital knowledge of any civilization is understanding human consciousness, its structure, and the laws guiding its development, because consciousness determines everything. The structure of the Great Pyramid is directly tied to the ancient Egyptians' understanding of the universe, its laws, and the human consciousness. They recognized that the consciousness of all living beings, including humans, is formed according to the laws of equally sized spheres that gather into clusters. These clusters are the physical structure, the carriers of living being consciousness. Consciousness develops by adding new spheres to the existing one. It's essential to recognize that energy or consciousness cannot exist without matter. Everything in this universe is grounded to matter and involves transitions from one form of matter to another, with accompanied by the release of absorptions of different forms of matter. Therefore, for consciousness to be present, there must be a physical carrier, which is a cluster made up of interconnected spheres. That was the Egyptian understanding of human consciousness. The mathematics of the spheres is beautiful, simple, and astonishingly harmonious. Only nature could create so simple and yet so magnificent laws. For example, the distances between the centers of all spheres in the cluster regarding of its size are equal to the square roots of whole numbers. Thoth said that it took Egyptians about 10,000 years to realize that the one is not actually one, but the square root of one. It comes from the laws of the spheres. Within the layers of spheres in the cluster, there are intermediate levels, and the distances between these levels are also the laws of the square roots of whole numbers. For example, in the second layer are two intermediate levels, in the third, 4, and in the fourth, 6. This understanding of the structure of consciousness has been fully confirmed by the recent scientific discoveries of academician Nikolai Levashov, who found that there are 7 types of matter in our universe, and every person consists of several nested material bodies formed by different type of matter. In other words, each person has a physical body, one ether body, and several 2 astral bodies, and 4, depending on the level of individual level of evolutionary development, up to 4 mental bodies. As you can see, this knowledge completely corresponds to that of the ancient Egyptians, since each body corresponds to one level of consciousness. But that's not all. The mathematics of spheres shows that transitions between levels of consciousness, which correspond to transitions into other dimensions, can occur only at certain angles. For this reason, both the main passages in the Great Pyramid are positioned at the angle of that precisely correspond to the transition from the 3rd dimension to the 4th dimension. More detailed information about this topic you can find in the Music of the Divine Spheres. Again, I'm a little bit describing this knowledge because it's closely interconnected to the structure of the pyramid. We'll discuss a little later. And clusters of consciousness that can be distinguished by the geometric figure inscribed within them. For example, if one connects the centers of 4 spheres in the cluster with straight lines, one obtains the tetrahedron. When interconnect 6 spheres, an octahedron. Thoth said that the consciousness of modern humans is situated between 5th and 6th levels, which correspond to the star tetrahedron. So the star tetrahedron represents human consciousness on this planet. Thoth revealed also the Great Pyramid was used as a system of portals, allowing specially trained individuals to travel between dimensions of consciousness and gain experience and knowledge from other planes of existence. The ancient Egyptians also knew the laws of another space, the space of golden ratio spheres, where the distances of the forming spheres differ by the value of golden ratio, which is 1.618. This space has no limits and was associated with the highest planes of beings and the supreme laws of the nature. All this knowledge was used in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Let us now look at the information given by Thoth regarding the design of this pyramid. In his conversation with Drunvalo and Melchizedek, Thoth said that he built the pyramid according to the proportions of the Earth and Moon, the proportions of golden ratio. He also said that under the pyramid there is identical another pyramid, and that he began construction from its apex. Now that we have an understanding the knowledge of the structure of the Great Pyramid, we can continue. Drunvala, guided by Thoth, described in his book, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, that when he descended through the lower corridor and underground chamber of the pyramid, at 2 points in this corridor marked with these red squares on the walls, he felt a vibrational frequency shift of the surrounding space by the full octave. To an ordinary person unfamiliar with the principles behind the Great Pyramid design, this information might seem meaningless, but let's look at the cross-section of the Great Pyramid. Indeed, under the Great Pyramid is another pyramid of the same size, oriented downward. Thus, truly began building the pyramid from its apex, from its lower apex, which lies about 90 meters below the ground level. Partially debris-filled well in the lower chamber leads directly to its apex. At a depth of approximately 60 meters lies the center of the space of golden ratio spheres. The surfaces of these spheres are formed by flows of various types of matter and act as boundaries between different dimensional spaces. It was precisely at these boundaries that Drunvala experienced the sudden 1 octave shift in the frequencies. Between, literally, he traveled through the 2 or 3 dimensions while descending in this corridor. The interdimensional transitions can occur only through the consciousness, not only through the consciousness, but also through the physical body as well. In this case, people can disappear in one dimension and appear in another dimension. This explains the phenomenon described by Drunvala, that while standing in the specific place in the lower chamber, one's thoughts can be materialized. And there are documental cases of people being teleported from this chamber to the sarcophagus of so-called king chamber. Because of such incident, the access to lower chamber was later closed to tourists, and the sarcophagus was moved to another location. In fact, the pyramid was never intended as a tomb for pharaohs. It was created for entirely different purposes. In the upper part of the Great Pyramid, there is another hidden corridor that connects 2 additional golden ratio spheres, linking 2 other dimensions. And recently, using the advanced instruments, scientists discovered a void there, which they called the Great Void. Thoth also revealed that under the Great Pyramid lies an enormous multi-level library of ancient knowledge and technologies, and vast complex like a grand mall left behind by earlier civilizations. And recently, Italian researchers using a synthetic aperture radar detected 2 such huge chambers beneath the pyramid, more than a kilometer deep underground, and along with numerous corridors leading to them and to other underground structures. To understand the structure and proportions of the step pyramid, we must once again turn to the laws of the spheres. The first 3 layers of consciousness contain exactly 9 levels corresponding to each bodies of a human being can possess on this earth. According to the discovery of Nikolai Levashov, when a person over the course of one's evolution develops these bodies, these all 8 bodies, including the 4 mental ones, then I will quote him. All qualitative barriers on the planet disappear for such a person. The Earth's zero cycle of spiritual evolution ends, and the stage of cosmic evolution begins. The presence of mental bodies gives the person possessing them tremendous mental power, whereby they can influence processes taking place in nature, both locally and on planetary level. Through the sole power of thoughts, they can influence and control the processes taking place in human society, and see and to hear the past, present, and future, to influence and change the future of both separate individuals and humanity in general, and to move in space and the universe. Such people are capable of much, much more. Only people who are in the right path of evolution, the path of godness, can reach these levels. Such a person also has the opportunity to choose any planet in our universe for life and further evolution. The evil, no matter how strong it may seem at first glance, it's incapable of evolution. So the cluster of spheres corresponding to 9 levels of consciousness, when projected into a plane, form the ancient symbol of the flower of life. So this is a true secret of the ancient symbol of the flower of life. It represents a complete cycle of spiritual evolution on this planet. So what next? There is another 4th level of consciousness corresponding to 7 levels, 7 divine levels or cosmic level of consciousness the person has to develop. The proportions of these 7 divine levels corresponding to square roots of whole numbers from 10 to 16 are exact proportions of step pyramid. The step pyramid of Djoser was built by Imhotep, a brilliant architect, priest, astronomer, and at the same time vizier of Djoser. The Greeks equated him as a god of medicine, Asclepius, and recognized him as the greatest and wisest man, the leader of all researchers. Imhotep was the first and only person recognized by humanity as a god while still alive. Even the first Christians consider him as a god. It's hard to even list all the areas where the genius of this extraordinary man was manifested, as well as his merits, especially there is not much information left about him. Even though the entire world once knew him. No one even knows where his body buried or whether he died at all. The step pyramid of Djoser is a starway leading to heaven, to 7 divine spheres. That's so after this pyramid, this knowledge about 7 divine spheres spread through the world. It's hard to find another person who has done so much for mankind as Imhotep did. Imhotep was actually the founder of medicine. If humanity hadn't lost the knowledge of Egyptian hieroglyphs for such long period of time, doctors would be given an oath to Imhotep instead of the Hippocratic oath. Greek scientists and doctors were visiting Egypt for centuries to learn about treatments, drug prescription, and description of the properties of medical plants which Imhotep left for humanity. During Imhotep time, complex human body surgery were performed, including surgeries on the skull. The honey binding he invented successfully replaced modern antibiotics when laid into the wound. So he has also become known to the world as a brilliant architect who started construction a stone building for the first time in human history. What he had invented in architecture was later used in other countries and still used by architects today. The ladder-shaped pyramid he built in Saqqara was the first known the stone structure. The pattern of blue. So now let's see the evidence that shows that the pyramid represent 7 layers, 7 levels of divine consciousness. It's built above the lower 9 levels of human consciousness. And the pattern of blue fences title located over the passages between the rooms in the southern mastaba inside the pyramid of Djoser is created in exact proportions of the square roots of whole numbers, and it represents the 9 Egyptian crystal spheres, nested crystal spheres. There are 9 levels of consciousness, 5 of which man holds in his hands as a handle of the jet symbols that this drawing is composed of. He has yet to develop another 4 levels of consciousness to complete the planetary cycle of development of human consciousness. Humanity has lost its understanding of the jet symbol, which is often depicted in conjunction with the Ankh, the symbol of eternal life. Sometimes a jet is depicted with a flower of life blossoming on its upper level. By all patterns, jet means human consciousness, the 9 nested crystal spheres for which humanity has been looking for so long. Humanity believed that Imhotep's body was buried inside the same pyramid with the Djoser body or beside it, but no one has been able to find it so far. Faith in Imhotep and the sacredness of the ground at the foot of the pyramid was the reason why sufferers from various countries have been flocking into this place for many centuries, wanting and hoping to receive healing and help there. The sacred place was the last hope for many in the area of pyramids. People settled and lived right here near the step, near the foot of the pyramid, and sometimes the last thing they saw in this life was a ladder-shaped pyramid towering them to the sky forever. The majestic ladder that took them to heaven. Imhotep didn't live at the loft of the spheres because he knew that dark times were coming. because the time where the pyramid was created is about 2,500 years BC. Still, he left us with evidence. He possessed this knowledge, the evidence embodied in millions of tons of stone, testimony that has survived through millennia. Only now we can appreciate the greatness of his act. So now we have a little bit understanding of Egyptian belief system and how it affects the construction and structure of the Great Pyramid and the Step Pyramid in Saqqara.
A rival to Atlantis, so to speak.
Oh, this is very important and very wide topic. We could leave it for separate discussion because there is a lot of information about that. It's impossible to say in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's it really that's an idea that's been intriguing me the last couple of years because
to say briefly, the Vedic civilization existed in this planet beginning from 6 or 800,000 years ago. Is the most old civilization on the planet. Of course, before that, some extraterrestrial civilization came and gone from this planet. But in terms of settling or living, or colonization, the first civilization was Vedic civilization from 4 different planets that came on this planet purposely to accelerate development of the consciousness, because this planet was created for acceleration of development of consciousness. It has a specific energy structure built by ancestors to accelerate the consciousness, and because it's so unique, in general, it's so unique planet in our universe that many spirits stay in lines for thousands of years to have the opportunity to incarnate in this planet, because it's accelerates the evolutionary development of thousands, maybe millions times compared to other planets.
What are your thoughts on the moon, the lunar mysteries? You know, there's talk of the ruins or relics. There's even talk that that the moon was used as a slow traveling ship to come to this planet and park itself in orbit. What do you think of that within the perspective of your research? Has anything pointed to that or suggested that to you?
Yeah, I know information about moons from the first hands. Actually, in the Earth initially was 3 moons. One was destroyed like about 100,000 years ago. Second was destroyed about 13,000 years ago, leading to a big flood. And this one, the last one, was, I don't think it's a ship because it's not created for the purpose of ship, but it's was brought to this space, but other civilization. It's not original object in our solar system, and it was brought here to stabilize, to harmonize place on this planet. It was one of the big plan of creation, of creating a special planet with special conditions for development, for accelerated development of human consciousness. And this moon was a part of this plan. Now it's only 1 moon, but initially it was 3 moons that fully harmonized space and also served as a protection from dark forces, from other bad civilizations. And they helped because these dark forces didn't know about this planet long time. And they discovered this hidden place in our galaxy relatively um, mm, like short time ago. And after that happens all this crap on the planet.
What do you think of the possible connection between Egypt, specifically Cairo, and in the pyramids and such, and Mars?
I don't know much about that, but I remember Grunwald said that the civilization of the Mars, that was pretty aggressive and they destroyed their planet. So they knew that the planet will die, and they came to our Earth and without permission and settled on this planet and created a lot of negative processes and things in our civilization. But I don't know more details about that. But he said they were punished some object like comet or came from the sky and destroyed the place they lived. I think they lived somewhere in area of Atlantis.
Well, we have time for one more question, and that is this. What are your thoughts about the much talked about three-eye atlas object?
I think it's purely politics action. It's to me it's like looks ridiculous because I saw myself UFOs, big UFOs and small UFOs, and even actions when big UFOs collected small UFOs, and how they moved, how they can appear in one, disappear from one place, appear in another place in fraction of seconds. So they don't need travel years or months to move from one part of solar system to another. It's ridiculous because they have technology that move instantly from one place to another place if they want it. And I think this is all part of propaganda that just distract people attention to necessary things to unnecessary things.
Well, Alexander, this was a fantastic conversation. There's so much information. We are going to have to do this again. Do you have any closing thoughts or comments before we go?
No, thank you for the opportunity to bring that knowledge to your audience. It's
Well, we thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So once
And
again,
I like very much your interview, your videos, the
thank you.
Work you,
Thank you. Okay.
the work you do.
Well, we're
I
gonna
hope
add you
I hope we will meet again because I have a lot of different topics to discuss, a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
information
Can.
that hidden from public because I realized recently that the information on many topics that the system doesn't want people to know, they one by one removed from the internet. For example, some topic, if you type in the Google some keyword in specific topics, like 10 years ago, you may got like many pages related information. Now, if you type the same questions, you have zero. So I just encourage people who find some interesting information on the internet or videos, just copy it and keep in your computer because it's most likely it will disappear very soon.
Yep, indeed. So where can everyone find you? All the viewers find you, your website and such?
Yeah, who's interested in more information about ancient knowledge may visit my website, milovanovbooks.com, and also find my book on internet, The Music of the Divine Spheres.
we will.
I hope that second book, The Civilization of Lost Connection, will be available soon also.
We'll include your website and the book titles in the description of this video as well, so they can see it with a link and get right to it. So anyway, Alexander, again, I thank you. We look forward to doing this again, and you have a good night.